Okay, so we're going to start on Unit 12.2 today, and we're just going to do part of it. We're going to do 12.2a, and these are all going to deal with arithmetic sequences. Arithmetic sequence. Okay, if you remember from yesterday, a sequence is just a what? A list. Okay, just a list. Okay, so we're not going to be adding anything together. That was a series. But we're going to deal with sequences, which are just lists. Okay, so the definition of a sequence, or excuse me, the definition of an arithmetic sequence is that they have a common difference. Okay, common difference. And we call that generally D. Okay, the common difference is you can use a sub 4 minus a sub 3 or a sub 3 minus a sub 2 or a sub 2 minus a sub 1. Okay, so essentially you can take any term number. So let me give you an example. Okay, so for example number 1. Okay, if I give you the sequence 7, 11, 15, and 19. Okay, to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to label these. That's your A1, A2, A3, and A4. Okay, we could call those A sub 1 through A sub 4, or you could technically say term 1, term 2, term 3, and term 4. In order for something to be an arithmetic sequence, it has to have a common difference. So that means you can take any number on the right and subtract the 1 before it, and it'll be the same thing. So, is 19 minus 15 4? Yes. Is that the same difference as A3 minus A2? Yes. Is it the same difference as A2 minus A1? Yes. So, what we're going to be working on today is determining, is this an arithmetic sequence? Okay, so is this one an arithmetic sequence? Yes. Okay, and something is an arithmetic sequence if it has a common difference. Okay, let's try another one. We're going to do the same thing. 59, 56, 53, and it would keep going. Is this an arithmetic sequence? Is it an arithmetic sequence? That means, does each term have the same difference between them? Technically, what is the common difference here? D is equal to what? Negative 3. Okay? So the common difference, they can be going up. Here you would be adding 4 to each term. Here you are subtracting 3. Okay? So common differences can be increasing, or they could be decreasing. Okay, in this term, or in this sequence, it's decreasing. Okay, let's try another one. For number 3, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to know, is this an arithmetic sequence? 1, 1/2, 1/3, 1/4. When we are dealing, excuse me, with fractions, you have to have a common denominator. So, what would the common denominator be between 1, 1/2, 1/3, and 1/4? Common denominator. What is it? Okay, my ears are plugged. I can't hear you guys. 12. Thank you. I couldn't hear. Okay, so this is 12 over 12. This is 6 over 12. That's 4 over 12. And 3 over 12. If you figure out the common difference, for instance, say if you take A4 and subtract A3, so A2 and A1. If you do A4 minus A3, that would be 3 over 12 minus 4 over 12. So your difference there would be negative 1 over 12. Then what if you did A3 minus A4? Or excuse me, minus A2? 4 over 12 minus 6 over 12. Do these have a common difference? No. Okay, so this is not an arithmetic sequence. Okay, So the first part of what you're working on today is determining, is this an arithmetic sequence? So you're just figuring out what is the common difference between each term. Okay, next thing we're going to move on to is something called the general formula for an arithmetic sequence. Okay, general formula. The general formula for an arithmetic sequence is a sub n equals a1 plus d times n minus 1. A sub n equals a1 plus d times n minus 1. And, excuse me, to figure out what this all means is a sub n basically means to find term number n. Okay, to find term number n, it is equal to a1 is the first term plus, what does d stand for? Common difference, multiplied by the term number minus 1. Okay, and you're going to see how this formula is going to come into play in just a second. Okay, so if you were given, for number 4, okay, if you were given a sub n equals 5 plus 3 times n minus 1, and I ask you to find the first 4 terms. Find the first 4 terms. What would you do? Plug it in for n. This is exactly what we did yesterday. Okay, so you'd plug in your a1, a2, a3, and a4, and you're plugging in for n. N is your term number. So 5 plus 3 times 1 minus 1 gives you 5 plus 0, so that's 5. Plug in 5 plus 3 times 2 minus 1. You guys work those out. What would we get for a sub 2? 5 plus 3 times 2 minus 1 is 1, times 3 is 3, plus 5 is 8. Okay, remember you have to do order of operations correctly. 3 minus 1 is 2, times 3 is 6, plus 5 is 11. 4 minus 1 is 3, times 3 is 9, plus 5 is 14. Okay, so technically your sequence is 5, 8, 11, and 14, and they always keep going. We always put the dot, dot, dot. Okay, so that's how you find a sequence. Now if I ask you to go backwards, okay, for number 5, if I tell you given the sequence 5, 8, 11, and 14, find the formula. We already know what the formula was, so we're going to be able to check our work. But I'm going to teach you how to go backwards. Okay, find the formula. So you're going to write down the general rule. So a sub n equals a1 plus d times n minus 1. And what you need to do is replace all except n. Okay, we're going to replace all but n. You're also not going to worry about the left side. Okay, so I'm going to replace, what is the a sub 1? What's the first term? 5. Plus, can you tell me what the common difference is here? 3 times n minus 1, and then just simplify, okay, or clean it up. If we clean up, we distribute, so that's 5 plus 3n minus 3, and then combine like terms, 3n plus 2. That's your answer. That is the formula that you would use to write this sequence. Questions on how I did that? Okay, let's try a couple more. Let's see. I want you to write, example number 6. I want you to find the formula 4, 9, 15, 21, 27. So we're going to start just like we just did. Write your general rule. A sub n equals A1 plus D times n minus 1. Don't worry about the left side. You're going to replace everything except for n. So what's your A sub 1? 9. What's their common difference? 6 multiplied by n minus 1, and then clean it up. So 9 plus 6n minus 6, 6n plus 3. Now that you're given that formula, or now that you found the formula, I want you to find A sub 20. You should find the 20th term in this sequence. Now, if I would have just told you find the 20th term in this sequence, you could theoretically just keep adding and adding and adding and adding and write down 20 terms and you could figure that out. But it's going to take a little while. Okay, you don't really want to do that. So this is a lot simpler to now find A sub 20. So what am I going to, how do I find A sub 20? Exactly, plus plug in 20 for n. 6 times 20 plus 3. 120 plus 3 equals 123. That's your 20th term. That's it. Okay, try something else. For number 7, I would like you to write a rule. Write a rule for the nth term given. Write a rule for the nth term given that A sub 27 equals 263 and that the common difference is equal to 11. We'll do this a little bit different this time. I'm not giving you the A1. I'm going to give you A sub 27. So again, we're still going to use the same general rule. So A sub n equals A1 plus D times n minus 1. Plug in what you've been given. Okay, A sub n, we're going to use 263. Equals, do we know A1? Not yet. So we're going to leave it as A1. Plus, do you know what the common difference is? 11. Do you know what the n is? It's 27. 27 minus 1. So now we're going to go backwards and solve for A sub 1. So 263 equals A1 plus 11 times 26. Okay, that will give you 263 equals A sub 1 plus 11 times 26 is 286. If you subtract over, we're going to get negative 23 equals A sub 1. And now we can rewrite this in the general rule. So we're going to plug in A sub n equals, put in your A1, which is negative 23, plus, common difference is 11 times n minus 1, and then just clean it up. So equals negative 23 plus 11n minus 11. So your actual general rule is A sub n equals 11n minus 34. That's the answer that I'm looking for. Questions on how I did that? We're going to do one more and then we'll be done. Yes?
Is there supposed to be an on all of them?
Do you mean like at the beginning?
Yeah, not the answer.
Well, if you're writing the general rule, yes. It says write the general rule. You have to, the A sub n as part of the equation,
But
yes.
for example 6, we didn't have to.
Well, I didn't ask you to, I said find A sub 20. So I'm finding an actual term number.
Before that was the answer, the 6 and plus 3, we don't.
This is the answer. You're talking about right here?
Yeah.
Technically it would be A sub n equals that, but I wasn't done. So if I asked you to just write the general rule, it would be this. But that wasn't what we were asking for. Okay, last one, number 8. Let's go. Okay, same thing. I'm going to give you A sub 19 is equal to 48. and your common difference equals 3. Okay, and I want you to write a general rule. Okay, so if I want you to write the general rule, you're going to start with a sub n equals a1 plus d times n minus 1. What should I plug in for an? 48 equals, what should I plug in for a1? We don't know yet. That's what we're solving for. That's our variable. What's the d? 3. What's your n? 19 minus 1, and then solve. So 48 equals a1 plus 3 times 18. 48 equals a1 plus 3 times 18 gives you 54. Subtract to the other side, you're going to get negative 6 equals a1. Then take this, plug it in with your d equals 3 to write a general rule. So an equals, a1 is negative 6 plus d is 3 times n minus 1, and clean that up. So negative 6 plus 3n minus 3, an equals 3n minus 9. And that's your answer that you were looking for. Any questions? Okay, homework for this is going to be page 806. You are doing numbers 3 through 29 odd. Okay, 3 through 29 odd. Remember, in the back of your textbook, there are answers to the odds. So check them. Okay, that's perfectly fine. You still have to show the work, but you can be checking your answers there. Okay, that's it.